Hello everyone, my name is David Raju. I'm a naturalist from Kerala, India. I've been traveling across Indian jungle quite a lot of years, almost over 20 years. So now I am here to share some of my jungle stories. So today I'm going to tell you some of the amazing stories of the reed frogs. I don't know how many of you know about reed frogs. So in Western Ghats, we have over around 250 frogs, different kinds of frogs. In that itself, there are bush frogs where over 60 species of bush frogs are there in Western Ghats. In that itself, there are 5 species of reed frogs are there. So reed frogs means they actually lives among the reeds. I don't know if you guys knows about reeds. If you compare it with the bamboo, reeds are much thinner, but it's got much more hollow in it, and they got a lot of natural slits. Some rodents and other creatures must have made some slits in it. So these frogs actually go inside and lay eggs and live there. They spend their life in those reeds. So that's why they are called the reed frogs. So in 2006. In Calicut in Kerala, there's a nature society called Malabar Natural History Society. One of their main person called Dr. Jafar Palot called me one day and said, David, do you want to come down to attend a amphibian survey in Kakkaim Wildlife Sanctuary? I said, yes sir, why not? I'll come down. I still remember I went and told this to my friend Pradeep Aimanam. Would you like to come with me to Calicut in Kakkaim Wildlife Sanctuary? We can go and attend a amphibian survey. So he's a dear friend. He took me to a lot of jungles in those days, my early life in the jungle. So he was ready. He had a bike there. So we drove in a bike to Calicut. It took almost 9 to 10 hours to drive. So imagine those days, this is almost 19 years ago. He believed you can't drive bike more than 30 kilometers. He drive very slow. So we slowly started. We reached Kakkaim Wildlife Sanctuary. The moment we reached there, we met a lot of people. There were already 15-20 people were there to attend this survey. I remember one of our friend and mentor, Satyan Mepayur, was there. He was doing birding and he showed us some of the birds like black-throated munias and all. So in the evening, Dr. Anil Zakaria came to the survey. So he was leading the survey. So Dr. Anil Zakaria is one of the leading amphibian experts in Western Ghats. He's been studying over 30-35 years, and he came with 2 of his friends. I remember still one person named Ravi. He was also there to assist him. So we went out at night to look for all the frogs. So I still remember we were flashing our torches trying to find different kinds of frogs. We caught some of the frogs and gave it to Dr. Anil Zakaria. He looked at it and said, okay, this is this species. And some of the frogs were calling from the top of the trees. We flashed the torch. And he identified all those species, and there was a lot of frogs were calling from the reeds. So those who knows about Kakkaim Wildlife Sanctuary, it's actually filled with reeds there, and there was a particular frog was calling from there, and we were trying to find this frog, but we couldn't find it. And Dr. Anil Zakaria said that this could be possibly a new species to science. And that night we were looking for a miniature night frog. That's the smallest frog in India, which was calling from a wet rock. Almost 15 of us trying to flash our torches and tried to locate it. We couldn't find. Again that night we found a lot of frogs. We studied a lot of frogs, but we couldn't discover or we couldn't find those reed frogs. So next year, Dr. Gururaja from Bangalore, his team actually discovered this frog and described this as a Oaklandre reed frog, new to science. So later I become great friends with Dr. Anil Zakaria. We started going into the jungle. We started doing a lot of amphibian surveys. So we discovered almost 12 frogs new to science and all. I still remember we went to, there's a place called Adrapalli. From Adrapalli, if you start driving up into Malakkapara, at night we were looking for frogs. I started hearing a frog right next to the road. I flashed the torch trying to look for it, and I tried to search all over the tree. I couldn't find the frog. So Dr. Anil Zakaria came and said, David, you're looking in the wrong place. You should look actually the ground. So when I flashed the torch to the ground, there was a small bush there. From the ground, this frog was calling. And it was funny actually. This frog was sitting down and the vocal sac was facing towards the top. So the sound was hitting on the top of the tree and resonating from there. It felt like the frog was on the top of the tree. So, and that's the first time we saw the Oaklandre reed frog. So we took the frog, we took some pictures. There's something funny happened, and while we were trying to take some pictures of this Oaklandre reed frog, we were using flash also. The flash actually hit our driver. The driver was sitting inside the jeep and next to the driving seat, and suddenly he made a weird sound and he fainted. So we went and put some water over his face. He was back in normal thing. So remember always, whenever you take some pictures with using the flash, don't flash it into anybody's eyes. They might get fainted. Okay, so then we did another survey in Agastyamalai in Sendurini Wildlife Sanctuary, which is one of the best amphibian survey we've done it. I think we found over 20-30 species of frogs in one night. And while doing surveys there were a lot of reeds. We were trying to flash our torches, and Dr. Anil Sakari again said there's a frog which is calling, which could be a new species to science. So we are trying to locate that frog. I still remember I went and stood under a reed, flashed my torch, and there was a tiny little frog was sitting on the top of the reeds. I called everyone. We literally surrounded those reeds. I climbed the reeds, caught the frog and gave it to Dr. Anil Zakaria. He looked at the frog and said, yeah, this is actually a new species to science. We will describe it. And that night, we managed to find another new species to science called Agastyamalai bush frog, like Raorchestes agastiensis. Another reed frog which was not seen almost 100 years, Chalasoda's reed frog. So these frogs, we managed to find it. Chalasoda's reed frog is actually one of the prettiest reed frog in India, which got green color with a bright yellow eyes. And later we went to a place called Gavi in Periyar, part of Periyar Tiger Reserve, where we managed to open one of the reeds, and we found another tiny yellow reed frog which was no black dots on it. So the reed frog which we found in Agastyamalai, which had black dots all over the body, the one we found in Gavi which didn't have any black dots. So this was also a new species to science. So the one which we found in Agastyamalai, we named after one forest department head, Manoharan sir. He helped us a lot during our amphibian research. And the one we discovered from Gavi, we named after PK Uttaman, who is one of the well-known birder from Kerala. And there is a KV Uttaman, he was a well-known forest officer from Kerala. Those two helped us a lot during our amphibian surveys. These are the things we found new species in our amphibian research. Few years later, Dr. S.P. Vijaykumar also discovered a new species of reed frog from Meghamalai Hills in towards the Periyar region, and that was also a new species to science. So, including that, there are 5 species of reed frogs. Just to compare with the bush frogs, we have over 60 species of bush frogs in Western Ghats. Reed frogs actually associated to the reeds. So, past 4 years, I've been living in Wayanad. And I've been watching a lot of these reed frogs, because once it started raining, you will get to see almost every day these reed frogs. Especially the Oaklandra reed frogs are very common where I live. And amazing thing about these Oaklandra reed frogs, they actually adapted to live among the reeds, and they live inside the reeds. There are some natural slits, probably some rodents or some other insects must have made these natural slits. These reed frogs actually go inside, live there, and also they call from inside, they lay eggs inside. The interesting part is, among all the bush frogs, they have an amplexus, means when they find a female, they hold on to the female, the males sit on the top of the female. Once the female lay eggs, the male release the sperm over it. That's the way the egg get fertilized. But the funny part is, because these frogs actually go inside and lay eggs inside, we have never seen a amplexus or the mating as such of this reed frogs, the Oaklandra reed frogs. So one thing we observed, once the male calls, the female approach the male. The female actually go inside the reed first, and the male follow it. Probably female goes and lays eggs inside. After that, male will guard there and release the sperm over it and protect the eggs till it hatches. So we've seen few days, probably 1 or 2 weeks, the males will sit there and guard the eggs. And so occasionally we hear the male is calling from inside to indicate the other males, I'm already there, don't come and try to venture inside these reeds. Last year, some of the scientists from Bangalore and other parts of India, they discovered something amazing discovery of this reed frog. They actually studied their skull structure of this reed frog. And they actually come up with an amazing discovery, saying that this reed frogs have actually a flatter skull compared to other bush frogs, because they have to get inside the reeds. Probably it's millions of years of evolution, because they have adapted to live inside the reeds. So their skull is much flatter than the other bush frogs. And when we talk about all these amazing things about reed frogs, one of our friend and mentor, Kunji Krishnan sir, he's from Trivandrum. He was standing next to a bus stop in Trivandrum. He saw 3 truckloads of reeds were going to a paper mill. So this reeds been extensively cut down and use it for paper pulp making. And it was raining that day, and all the frogs were calling from the reeds inside a truck. And it was very sad to see these frogs were actually going to get paper pulp. So we actually wrote to the forest department and other authorities saying that not to cut down any reeds from the forested region. At least, of course, we need the paper mill, we need the paper pulp to make paper and books and all. But at least to avoid this reeds, so that these frogs can actually survive in the wild for many more years to come. This is the story of reed frogs. Keep watching it. I'll be coming with more stories in future. Thank you so much.